Most people live without purpose, disconnected from their gifts and their ancestry. But what if I told you that your spiritual path is the blueprint to unlock your talents, your wisdom, and your destiny? Today, we're going to dive into how connecting to your lineage and spiritual practice can transform your life and make you a trailblazer. So, I'm going to get started. We're going to be discussing ancestral spirituality systems, spiritual systems, and today we're going to be discussing the African spiritual system. And spirituality and why so many people gravitate to it, oftentimes when they feel lost, they feel rejected, they feel confused, is because the spirituality connects you more so to your purpose. You know, you can be in religion and still wonder what God has in store for you. What am I meant to do? And when you tap into spirituality, spirituality lays it out for you. And the African spiritual systems, there are systems with an S, they're vast and they're diverse, but they share certain foundational principles and wisdom that has guided people for thousands of years. These systems are not just about rituals, they are full worldviews that connect humans to creation, to ancestors, to nature, and the divine. Many African traditions teach that there is one supreme creator, one God, one source, with deities, spirits, or forces serving as intermediaries. The wisdom that is part of it, the creator is present in all things, and life is sacred because it flows from this source. Ancestors are honored as spiritual guides. They're not worshiped. They serve and they're honored as spiritual guides who remain connected to their lineage. The past is never dead. The wisdom of those before us continues to guide and protect us. African systems emphasize living in balance with nature, society, and yourself. Disharmony creates illness, misfortune, or social breakdown. Restoring balance brings healing and prosperity. Belief that every human has a divine spark, destiny, and spiritual energy. You can carry the power of God within. Your self mastery, your purpose, and alignment are key to unlocking it. Nature is alive and infused with spirit. Rivers, trees, mountains, animals, and even stones are seen as vessels of spiritual energy. By respecting nature, we maintain harmony with the creator, creation, and ensure future generations thrive. The philosophy of African spiritual systems is I am because we are. A person cannot exist in isolation. Your well being is tied to the well being of others. Spiritual systems often include herbal medicine, divination, and rituals for mental, spiritual, and physical healing. True healing involves body, spirit, and community. Western medicine often forgets this holistic view. Each person is believed to come into life with a destiny that must be fulfilled. Success is not measured by wealth alone, but by whether you align with your divine mission. Life is seen as cyclical, not linear. Birth, death, and rebirth are part of the eternal journey. Death is not the end, but a transition to another state of being. Life is eternal. Through rituals, offerings, meditations, drumming, and dance, African spirituality emphasizes discipline and communion with spirit. Spiritual growth requires practice, not just belief. It is lived, not only spoken. African spiritual systems teach oneness with God and reverence for ancestors, balance with nature, the power within oneself, the importance of community, and living one's divine purpose. Many African spiritual systems teach that each person has a divine destiny. By connecting to your spiritual path, your, your identity, your true talents and purpose, you innovate because your work is not random. It's aligned with your destiny, and it gives you ideas, clarity, vision, and originality. Spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, rituals, and ancestral communion awaken latent abilities and creativity and intuition and intelligence. Ancestral guidance often reveals solutions or ideas that are outside conventional thinking. Innovators often report visions, insights, or inspiration that come from deeper spiritual alignment. Lineage systems teach that wealth is an extension of harmony with nature, spirit, and community, not just material accumulation. Spiritual discipline opens pathways for wealth by cultivating discernment, strategic thinking, and the ability to recognize opportunities that others overlook. Prosperity flows when one's actions are aligned with cosmic or ancestral law. Nature is considered alive and intelligent. Observing patterns in rivers, stars, plants, and animals provides insight. Many inventions historically have mirrored natural patterns, and these all come from the same principle. Lineage systems train practitioners to see and learn from natural intelligence, which stimulates creative problem solving. Ancestors are spiritual guides who provide wisdom from generations of experience. Access to ancestral knowledge accelerates your learning, your innovation, and the development of your talent because you're building on collective intelligence instead of starting from scratch. Rituals, offerings, meditation, drumming, and dance, they cultivate your focus, your patience, and your persistence. Innovation and trailblazing requires the discipline to pursue long-term projects and to refine skills over time. Spiritual practice strengthens the mind, body, and spirit to sustain creative work. Many African spiritual systems emphasize interdependence and mentorship. Collaborating with like-minded individuals, it nurtures your talent, it supports risk-taking, and it multiplies resources, which often leads to breakthroughs in business, in art, and in science. Spiritual practice teaches practitioners to see beyond the material, recognize patterns, and anticipate future needs. The visionary perspective allows one to create trailblazing innovations that others cannot see or conceive. So, practicing one's lineage spiritual system, it creates trailblazers and innovators by aligning your actions with divine purpose, by awakening latent gifts and intelligence, by opening channels to wealth through cosmic alignment, by teaching observation and learning from nature, from providing ancestral guidance for practical and creative solutions, from building discipline for mastery, from encouraging community and mentorship, and expanding visionary thinking. Essentially, innovation, wealth, and genius aren't just human effort. They are the natural products of being in alignment with your lineage, with your spirit, and with your ancestors. So African spirituality has historically created trailblazers across fields like science, leadership, art, medicine, and social innovation. This happens because it aligns individuals with purpose, it awakens gifts, and it connects them to ancestral and natural intelligence. African spiritual systems teach that everyone has a divine destiny. Trailblazers emerge when they align with their actions, or they align their actions with their destiny, and it produces ideas that feel meant to be. Spiritual practices, the meditation and drumming and dance and rituals and ancestral communion, it unlocks those talents, your intelligence, and your creativity. So trailblazers, again, they have reported that they have visions and intuitions that guide them. Nature is seen as alive, intelligent, and instructive. in the African spiritual systems. So, in the observing of cycles and patterns and ecosystems, it will inspire innovation. Many African thinkers and inventors draw on nature for solutions, creating sustainability and forward thinking breakthroughs. Ancestors provide wisdom from generations past, offering guidance and perspectives that accelerates learning. Trailblazers benefit by building on collective ancestral knowledge. Instead of reinventing what was already done, your ancestors are full of knowledge. And when your rituals and offerings and spiritual disciplines cultivate resilience and patience and focus, you'll maintain that vision and over time perseverance, because you'll be refining your skills and ideas until they succeed. African spirituality emphasizes interconnectedness and mentorship, ensuring knowledge and resources flow through networks. Trailblazers often rise within these communities, supported by shared wisdom and guidance. Practitioners are trained to see beyond immediate circumstances, recognizing patterns and anticipate the future. And trailblazers often use this visionary insight in order to create solutions and concepts ahead of their time. African spirituality creates trailblazers by aligning purpose, unlocking gifts, providing ancestral guidance, connecting to nature, building discipline, fostering community, and expanding visionary thinking. African spirituality is the spiritual blueprint for leadership, innovation, and excellence. The blueprint is the framework for living in harmony, and it will begin to outline how to access your gifts and destiny, wisdom, and cosmic knowledge. And we know knowledge is power. Those who know, understand, and practice this spiritual system, they gain access to clarity, creativity, innovation, purpose, direction, and wealth in its many forms. And wealth is material, spiritual, and communal, and also connection to ancestors and natural intelligence. Those who ignore or forget their spiritual lineage often experience lack of purpose or clarity. What am I supposed to do? I don't understand what I'm supposed to do, what God wants me to be, because they are not tapped into their spiritual lineage. So they experience lack of purpose or clarity. They have difficulty realizing their talents or their potential because they're disconnected from natural cycles and ancestral guidance. Vulnerability to external manipulation or societal oppression is very high in those that ignore or forget their spiritual lineage, right? In practicing rituals and ancestral reverence and spiritual disciplines, that activates the blueprint. This is what differentiates trailblazers from those without. Those aligned with their spiritual foundation are the ones who innovate, lead, and manifest abundance. African spirituality is the blueprint. Knowing, practicing, and honoring it, it accesses to your gifts, your intelligence, and your destiny. But when you are ignoring or you're disconnected, you remain without, you remain untapped, and you are misaligned. The more you honor the spiritual blueprint of your lineage, the more you unlock your potential to lead, to innovate, and to thrive. Here's the truth. Most people don't know that African spirituality is the ultimate blueprint for life, purpose, and power. Those who know it, understand it, and honor it, they unlock their talents and gifts and intelligence and destiny. They become the innovators, leaders, and trailblazers. And we know the ones that ignore it, forget it, and never learn it, they remain without guidance, without clarity, without access to their full potential. Your lineage, your ancestors, your spiritual wisdom are the keys to your greatness. Ignoring them is leaving your own power on the table. So study it, honor it, practice it. Step into the blueprint of your destiny and become the trailblazer you were born to be. There is historical proof. Priests and scholars practice rituals, meditation, and spiritual discipline in order to develop knowledge in mathematics and medicine, astronomy, and architecture from ancient Kemet from Egypt. Monumental achievements like the pyramids and medicine, medical texts were products of spiritual alignment and cosmic laws. The West African kingdoms of Mali and Benin and Yoruba, they have spiritual systems that guide governance, trade, and art. Their leaders and artisans, they were initiated into spiritual knowledge, which enabled advanced metallurgy, urban planning, and economic systems. Many modern African descendant trailblazers credit ancestral knowledge and cultural practices for inspiration. George Washington Carver, agricultural innovations rooted in observation of nature and spiritual reverence for life cycles. Maya Angelou, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Marcus Garvey, creativity and leadership informed by a connection to African heritage and spiritual lineage. There are studies in psychology and neuroscience that show meditation, ritual, and ancestral reflection improve cognitive function, creativity, and decision making. People with strong cultural and spiritual identity tend to be more resilient, innovative, and purpose driven. In the Americas and Caribbean, African spiritual practices like Vodun, Santeria, Yoruba, Orisha worship have historically produced leaders, inventors, and artists. Communities honoring these practices often display strong problem-solving skills, artistry, and entrepreneurial innovation. African spiritual systems emphasize learning from nature, and this has historically led to agricultural innovation, crop rotation, soil fertilization, management. What about medicine? Herbal treatments that were discovered through observation, engineering and astronomy, alignment of monuments with celestial bodies. While it's not always scientific proof in a lab science, the historical, cultural, and psychological evidence strongly suggests that practicing African spiritual systems cultivate gifts, intelligence, leadership, and innovation. Connecting to your spiritual path means intentionally aligning your life with your inner purpose, your ancestral guidance, and your higher consciousness. It's more than belief. It's a lived practice that guides your thoughts, your decisions, and your actions, right? And when you align with your true purpose, that means your spiritual path is going to reflect your unique destiny or calling. So when you follow it, your path is going to flow with clarity, and your actions are going to produce meaningful results. Your spiritual path is then going to link you to your generational knowledge and guidance. And that's where you'll gain the insight, the foresight, and support from ancestors who have walked before you. And as you connect spiritually, it'll awaken those talents and your creativity. You'll begin to recognize and develop your strengths, which allow you to innovate and to lead. So connecting with our spiritual path, living aligned with our purpose that is guided by our ancestors, that makes us aware of our gifts, and we're in harmony with nature and community and empowered to create meaningful impact. The African spiritual systems, we don't worship nature, we honor nature. We respect nature and all that it produces. We value its creation. We value what feeds off of it and from it, right? So as we have spoke here, your spiritual path isn't just a belief in the African spiritual system. You don't just believe. It's your power, it's your purpose, it's your destiny, right? So learn to practice it, connect to it, and watch as your gifts and your guidance and your opportunities flow into your life, right? It's you stepping into your blueprint. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.